obedience.
Yes. Oh.
The revival that I had last in Missouri, it was a Wednesday night. Y'all was probably praying for me. I don't know what was going on. But believe it or not, as big mouth as your pastor is, I lost my voice 15 minutes into the teaching. I stopped the service. It was so embarrassing. That was pride. I stopped the service and I said, we got to have prayer. The people began to pray. I started talking again and finally it was gone. And I told the people, I said, you know, I don't know what's going on. This has never happened in all my life. Teaching. All I can say is, let's go to prayer. That's right. There was a little girl. I say little, she's probably in her 20s. Amen. I remember that was me. Now I'm old. But a young girl in her 20s, she's on the front row. She turns around. I had no idea what was going on in her life. She turns around and begins to pray and begin to seek God. I didn't realize that the situation she was dealing with, she was dating a man that's on drugs, and she was fighting on the fence.
Yeah.
I want Jesus, but I love Him. I want Jesus, but I love Him. After service was over, really, I felt double dog beat because I thought, God, I let Him down. But I realized that it was God. She comes to me and said, I need to talk to you, preacher. Renee and I met her the next day. She worked at a restaurant, and we went in, and she began to pour her heart to us about this young man and continue to pray for him, okay? And she was fighting, and you know what? God cared enough about her that He says, Randy Shorter, shut your mouth and let me do something for my glory. Amen? Preachers, let me tell you, this is a good lesson. When God says, shut up and sit down, shut up and sit down. Can you say that? God can do more in 1 minute. That's right. Than we can do in a lifetime. Amen. Saturday morning, or excuse me, Friday night, I got a text. She said, please pray now. This young man, she didn't know where he was at. He told her he was going to commit suicide. She was going nuts. She didn't know where he was at. I called her back the next morning, and we began to talk. Well, first she texted me, and then I called her. She said, preacher, we found him. He's home. He's having some problems. Now you listen to me. Listen very carefully. This is the way that dirty dog works. The Lord rebuke him today. Amen. She said, preacher, he's discouraged. He's at home in bed. I don't want him to commit suicide. Do you think it would be okay if I went over there and kind of laid in bed with him? And kind of held his hand and calmed his nerves? I said, no, ma'am, you don't need to go over there and hold his hand and lay in bed with him and calm his nerves. Because that's a trick of the devil. You want to go over there and pray for him, that's one thing, but don't you crawl in that bed with him. You're not married. Are you listening to that? You see, she was a young person, and she was so close to that fence, she was fixing to climb over it. Because the devil said, it's okay to eat of that tree. Look at that pretty fruit. It's going to make you wise. Just go ahead and pluck that fruit. Started saying apple. It might have been a peach. Just go ahead and pluck that fruit. It's just going to make you smart. And God knows that. That dirty dog will lie to you. Are you listening to me?
Amen.
God will always come through for His people if we are obedient. Obedience, Saul learned this the hard way, is better than sacrifice. When there's a problem which does not get corrected overnight, God, why? Why is this happening? God, I spent 30 minutes. I spent an hour in prayer. God, I spent a whole day without food. I fasted. God, what's going on?